Hello everyone and welcome to this video, which is in our Crazy Leela series and our Night Odd series. Another final set of tactical puzzles from Leela's adventures with Night Odds. Starting with this position. So it's looking pretty promising for black. Maybe the only thing that you might notice is that this bishop on b7 is rather hemmed in by pawns, but well, those two passed pawns, the active black king, doesn't really feel like Leela's got this one under control. But how did Leela sort of add a little bit of spice into the position? How do you think that Leela managed to add a bit of sharpness into the position here? It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. The interesting thing is that on this move after bishop f5 check, black played the move king g5, which is incredibly natural. But Leela's saying that, or rather Torch is saying that king g7 would have been the best, because after king g5, white played the move g3, and all of a sudden black's got a few little worries there about the king, because after h4 check, black's only going to have one move on h5 for the king, and well, if you've only got one move and your king can't move after getting there, you know that you're going to be in a little bit of danger there. And actually it's already very, very difficult indeed for black. The best move that the engine suggests is to play e2 and just free some room up for the king. The problem is that after a move like bishop d7, well, rook b8 is happening and this bishop on d7 is completely killed. So it's already gone a bit horribly wrong for black. But black played the move h5, and this is the puzzle. What did Leela play here? Well, what Leela did was weave a mating net with h4, king h6 and rook f7. And, well, we're attacking the bishop for good measure. But yeah, the pawn on h4 controls g5, bishop on f5 stops the king from moving to g6, and rook h7 checkmate is completely unstoppable. Just, oh dear, against a very strong blitz player as well at something like 10 minutes plus 10 plus 5, I think. 10 plus 5 indeed. So black player had plenty of time, but still didn't see this coming. Yeah, this one was quite nice. I mean, sometimes people sort of say, okay, Leela, I've got you. We'll get you tactically. And that's what black did here. Piece up, under some pressure because of the pressure against the bishop on c6 and the weak d5 pawn and the open black king. Black played knight e6, rook takes c6 and knight takes d4 with a pretty big fork there. Queen b3, rook c6, knight f5. What did Leela answer? Well, when you know that Leela's got it all covered, it's not too hard to discover the move. Queen takes d5 check, and black resigned. What's the problem? Well, after queen takes d5, rook takes d5 is the only move, because white's threatened to take the rook on d8. Then after rook takes d5, we go rook c8 check. And, well, black's king is completely trapped on the back rank. Only move is queen f8, and then we take on d5, and that's a rook already with more to come. So, yeah, again, very strong blitz player there. Just got a little bit out-tacticked by Leela. Pardon me. So this, another very typical situation you see a lot in Leela's games. You know, black resisting very well in a long game. Doing okay, but somehow, you know, not really the quality of the pieces again, huge difference. This rook compared to this rook, this bishop compared to these knights. Again, Leela setting up the pawn on h6 so that if h7 goes, the pawn's going to queen. Black tried to deal with the threat along the 7th rank by playing knight g6. What did Leela do here? Doesn't have to be complicated, just the simple bishop e4 check. The black king is restricted, knight takes e4 is necessary, and after rook takes f7, white simply winning. Pawn on h7 goes, and then the h pawn goes all the way to queen. So this was one of these slow kingside attacks from Leela, where yeah, just start pushing the pawns forward. But black tried to, sort of deal with that space advantage and sort of break up the white position. And well, I mean, it's sort of helped, but black's pieces are obviously, not that great. And Leela played a mysterious sacrifice d6. And black replied with bishop takes d6. What was Leela's riposte? Just a very strong move, nothing complicated, just queen d5, hitting the rook on g8 and also the bishop on d6. Yeah, black played the move knight g6, but queen takes g8 was checkmate. Was very, very nice somehow. Leela just built up this huge position. Black tried to break out and then just got tactically punished. As if Leela had seen it all. Ah, this is another typical scenario. I keep on mentioning it, but it really is, noticeable somehow that so many, strong players, especially with the longer time controls, are surviving quite well. But somehow, the quality of the pieces, the activity of the pieces, there's just some huge difference. And you see it here, right? I mean, black's still a piece up, but the pawn structure is ruined. And the white pieces are looking great, and the black pieces are on the back rank, desperately holding on for grim life. But black tried to sort of create a little bit of play somehow with the queen, try and upset the white position. But how did Leela respond? Well, I mean, that queen was probably, thinking about going to h1 to win the h6 pawn, or attacking the f3 pawn when the bishop moves away. But Leela just replied with the move knight e3. And, well, actually, it's covering d1. The queen can't escape to d3, where it arrived. And after queen h1, there is simply rook h2, and the queen is trapped. Yeah, queen f1 looked, it sort of looked like, well, I can try it and there's no risk. But yeah, turned out to be absolutely fatal. Now we get a very typical little tactic here. So yeah, black's still a piece up, but obviously his king has been a little bit weakened. There's a lot of weak dark squares here, and stuff like bishop d4 is in the air. But black decided queen a2. Just time to go in there, and white can do his worst. Well, what was Leela's worst? Leela's worst was very bad indeed. Rook takes h7 check, king h7 and queen f7. Very typical sort of distracting sacrifice. And the problem is the king's only got the h8 square, and then rook h1 is mate on the h file, knight h4, rook h4. That's why you you open up the black king, why you sacrifice pawns, you give yourself these open lines, and then the tactics just flow from that. This was a bit of a hard one for black to take. So yeah, I mean, we've got this position, and in all fairness, there does not seem to be that much danger for black. Okay, white's got a pawn on h6, possible mate on g7, but there's a rook on c7 covering that. We've got a bit of pressure on the bishop on f6, but I've got quite a bit of defensive possibility. And on top of that, I'm attacking the c2 square, so that white can't be completely free. I mean, you might have expected white to try and line up on the f-file, but that would just be met by rook f7 with no problems. So Leela played a very sneaky move, which was queen e2 here. Hard to really know exactly what the point is, but it's kind of just really quite dangerous. Just general danger, I'd say, in the area of the black king. So what did black play? Black played the move rook f7. I mean, that is the move that you were going to play against queen f2. It's the move that you would say that's going to be the safest move of all time now. But what did Leela play? Yeah, I mean, I really think that Leela's move was kind of very much intended against this move, because Leela took on f6 and played the very nasty move Queen e7. And there's a dual threat here: Queen g7 check, and also Queen f8 checkmate. So if you take the rook on f5, I just go Queen g7 mate, and yeah, whatever else. I mean, how do you stop the mate on g7? Either the rook on f6 will go, or I'll get Queen f8 and rook f8. So what did the engine suggest? Rook g8 was the best, but after rook f6, Queen e8, Queen b4 even. White's just, yeah, actually not even material up, funnily enough, but with an absolutely massive position. +5 is what the engines think. a4 is going to be played. We'll have Queen d4 afterwards. Total disaster for black. So after Queen e7, black resigned. Oh, this is a glorious little pin thing. I mean, black lost the piece back, but is a pawn up. Leela plays Queen b5, looking to sort of attack along the 5th rank. If you take, I'll take back there. I mean, the engines actually consider this position to be equal, but yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, that would be absolutely fine. But what black did was play the move rook d7. I mean, why give away a pawn on the 5th rank when you can just defend it? What did Leela play here? Well, Leela played the absolutely shocking geometrical line rook d1, and yeah, there's just pins, counter pins everywhere. But the idea is rook c5, rook takes d7, queen b7 is really dangerous for black. It's apparently still vaguely alive, but you can sort of you know, hold yourself in there with some counterplay against here. But check, rook a7, you know, the danger continues. It's plus 1.3 according to Torch. You know, so so white definitely on top there, and black struggling to yeah, just to keep afloat. Black played a decent move actually, rook d1, and then rook e5 takes and queen takes. And actually the engines say that this is just 0.45 for white, but within a few moves Leela had won absolutely everything, and black resigned here. I mean, I'm sure Leela's going to manage to win the g4 pawn, and then queen and 3 passed pawns against the 2 rooks. That's going to be way too much. So a lovely geographical little motif there. Really nice. This is also quite a nice geometrical motif here. Again, black's done pretty well. Still a piece up. But of course, you know, the black king is in danger, looking a little bit open there. Would have been sensible for black to play the move king g7 just to get off a light square, but black played the move rook e6. And how did Leela punish that? So this lovely geometry again. Bishop takes g6, obviously a discovered attack against the rook, so you've got to take the bishop. And then rook e6 here. And the beautiful thing is you're attacking the queen, but you're also attacking the rook. If queen takes, I just take back with the rook. And black resigned here. In actual fact, you know, black could still do a little bit of resistance. Knight f8 was possible, but after takes and rook e7 check, takes, d takes c5, queen f3. Yeah, we're hitting that pawn. We're going to win that one and then have 2 passed pawns on the king side and some very weak targets on the queen side, isolated targets to attack with the queen, and engines playing the white side. You know, black's not going to survive that. Very nice geometrical motif there, this rook e6. Ah, this was a nice one. Leela gladly sacrificing a central pawn in order to get all the pieces developed and have something pointing towards the king. The engines still feel that white's much better. You know, I mean, something like bishop takes c3 and castles, but you know, Leela would just play g4, and well, good luck, you know, dealing with all that. Black tried to just keep things tight at the back and play the move e5, but this opened up a diagonal. It closes one but opens up another. How did Leela exploit this? Well, what Leela played was the move bishop takes f7. Black could try and survive with king e7 after bishop takes g6, threatening queen f7. This is not particularly pleasant for black. Black took with a queen on f7, and then just give you a little moment, just in case you haven't seen the line. What did white play? Well, there's this distracting tactic again, rook d8. Always very important to look out for such tactics. You know, when there's a queen protected by the king and there's a queen attacking the queen, look for some way to distract the opponent's king. Black didn't want to play king takes d8, queen f7, which is pretty horrific. So played king e7, and then we got bishop b4 check. King d8, queen f7 is even more horrific because we're threatening queen e7 check mate as well. So after king e6, rook d6 check was played, king e7, and now can you spot the mate in 2? Mate in 3, actually, sorry, mate in 3. It was check, check on f7, and then queen e7, and that was that. Checkmate from Leela. Really lovely, lovely little distraction motif there again. Well, here Leela's obviously done pretty well, just only a pawn down now after obviously having given knight odds to start with. But black tried to be cunning here, played the move bishop takes c5, exploiting the pin on the d4 pawn, and after takes, queen takes b2. Yeah, I mean, black sort of hoping that that things will go well. To be honest, rook takes d8 and queen c7 would be a little bit awkward, but maybe, you know, black might get some counterplay against the exposed white king. But Leela had something much more cunning planned. What was it? Really nice move here. Rook ed4, which led to time forfeit. The key point is that the queen is attacking the rook on b8, and we're also threatening rook takes d8. If you go queen takes d4, for example, I just go rook d4. You can't take on d4 because b8 is hanging. If you go rook f8, just give you a little moment just to look at that one, just in case you hadn't seen the move rook ed4. We've got queen takes b8, and obviously after rook takes b8, there's rook d8 check with mate on the back rank. There is queen takes d4 from black, but the desperado queen f8 takes, and rook d4 just gives white a completely winning position. Very nice geometry there with rook d4. And that was the final puzzle of the Night Odds series. I've got some rook odds planned for you, also some queen odds as well, loads of queen odds I think, and maybe a few more from my games as well, who knows. So hope you're enjoying these tactics, hope they're proving useful. I mean, they're quite unusual somehow, these tactics. They're not the normal sort of run-of-the-mill tactics that you see in tactics books. So, you know, from that point of view, it's really good. And you know, the reason for that I think is that, you know, Leela's really having to strain being a piece down to get things, you know, to really make these things work, and yeah, it just leads to crazy, irrational situations. So yeah, you know, hope you're learning a lot from those. I certainly feel I've really upped my tactical game, you know, looking at these sort of things. But do give a like, subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and otherwise hope to see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.